Hi Cherries, Emily with you today, and for this month's Technique Tuesday we're focused on 6x6 paper pads. Here I have the Christmas Floral Collection from Carta Bella, and it has all these pretty patterns and sayings, and I also have the Sizzix Christmas alphabet dies. So I'm going to be using both those today to make some really cute cards. I'm just grabbing some of this really pretty pattern paper and also some of these sayings which are perfect for card making, and here I'm just going to trim off the edge where there's the little hole at the top to make it a true 6x6. So that's easy with these ones that have the sayings, and then the line right there I can tell where to trim it, and so I'm just going to use that for my actual pattern paper since there is no crease line here for that. So just going through and trimming up my paper. I'm just going to also trim down my sayings so I have them all ready and prepared to make my card. So here I'm taking my card and I'm just going to fold it in half. There's nothing I love more than simplicity with card making, so I'm just taking my 6x6 sheets and folding them in half to create a mini type of slimline card. So it's going to be a lot smaller than even your mini slimline type card, but it's actually still a great size. And here are all my really cute sayings that are going to be perfect for the inside of my card. I love all these. Noel and Joy are actually a couple of the words I think I want to make with my Sizzix alphabet dies. So here I am just grabbing out the letters that I want. I think I'm going to start with Joy. It's a little less intimidating, only 3 of the letters. And I'm actually grabbing some of the cardstock from the 6x6 paper pad to use as a base to cut out my letters. So I'm going to start with the J here, and for this one I'm just going to cut out the green, and I really like the green for the actual J letter. And then it does have that bell and the bow, so I'm going to grab some of this champagne gold stencil butter from TCW, and I'm just painting this on just some scrap cardstock here. So look at that beautiful shine. Once that dries, I'll use the J again and die cut it out, but for now I'm going to start working on my Y, which has a little log on it, so I'm just ink blending some brown onto my paper, and then I'm going to cut out at the same time the Y and the J where I have those bells. And so the thing about these dies is that they're all connected, so it does make it a little bit fussy, but there's my really pretty bell. How great is that? So you do have to continue to cut over and over, but here's my log I just wanted to show you, and here it has all these little intricate pieces to these dies. It does make it very detailed and delicate, but it makes such a beautiful end result that it's so worth it in the end. So there's my log. How cute is that? And now I'm going to work on my O. The O is a lot simpler. I'm kind of jumping back and forth between the letters because I do have to do the different colors. So here's my O, which is just a really beautiful ornament. And then I'm also going to use the gold here because there is a piece of the top of the ornament, the hook part, that I would like to be gold. And that looks pretty too, but I might do something else. So look at, here's the gold on the top base for the hook part, which I think is so cute and perfect. So now I have this blue, and I think I'm actually going to use this and use a little bit of oxide here to make it a little bit of a darker or different shade of blue on my ornament. I really liked the idea of doing like a blue on blue look for my ornament. So I'm just ink blending some of the speckled egg color on here, and that looks really great. So that's the same exact pattern paper, but I just ink blended it, and I'm just checking out how it looks on my red card base here. And I'm just gluing on, there are 2 other little bitty pieces to the ornament, the O. So just gluing those on and then gluing on the big part, the base. And I think I started with the O first as far as putting it all together because it was a little bit simpler. The pieces were a little bigger. And here's my O and my little ornament. How cute is that? So now I'm going to continue working on my J. I have some of the red pattern paper from my 6x6 Carta Bella pack here, so I'm just going to use the red for the bow. So there's this really cute adorable bow, and then it also has a really tiny dot that I glued onto it. So here are my bells for my J and the bow, and that looks really good. So that's all glued on, looks good on the red. But I'm trying to figure out if I do want this as a red background. I do like this green a lot, but I don't know if the J is also green, so we'll see where I go with this. I'm not really sure. I did all these card bases and just folded them in half, so it was really simple. So now I'm just kind of deciding what I would like to do. So here I'm just going to continue on before I figure that out with cutting out my Y. So here I cut out some of the yellow from my paper pad, and that's going to be the base, my actual letter Y. And now I'm cutting out some of the green, and it has a little piece of holly on the log, so I'm just taking taking the leaves off of here and putting them to the side, and then I'm going to cut out some of this red pattern paper for the berries of the log. Again, this is really tiny and intricate die, but it's just so much fun to put it together. So here's my green holly, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on there so I can put my little 2 dots on there and then moving them about so they fit perfectly. And here we go. There's my little piece of holly. How cute is that? So that's going to go right on my log here. I'm just going to glue that down. And then the log, they do have the images on the packaging for you, the Sizzix, but I'm just kind of placing it where I feel like it looks best. So if you do need that help with coloring or anything like that, you can look on the packaging, which is nice. So there's my Y. How cute. So I finally got my letters done. These look awesome. I felt like with the 6x6 paper pad and folding it in half, this was a nice size to use a big alpha die type to create a 1-word card and kind of like a showstopper. So I'm actually trying this out now on the green, but my J is green still, so I think I'm going to switch it out with a red one. So I did do that. I switched out my J for a red J that I had already cut out of the pattern paper, and I'm liking this green a lot, so I think I'm going to stick with this green. So now that I've decided my card base, I'm just going to finally stick on all my letters to the front of my card, and I'm using some really mini foam dots in order to do this. And I'm not putting them down quite yet. I just want to put them on there first and make sure they're all spaced out evenly and look good and straight before I actually press them down. So that looks good to me, so just going to press them all down. Nice. So now I'm going to work on the inside of my card, and here I'm just cutting out a nice card base for the inside so you can write your sentiments on. And then I have all these sayings cut out already, which is perfect. Just using some cherry tape to adhere that down. And then here I have the merry and happy everything and always. It's so cute. So I'm using a blue strip that I used for the same pattern paper for my ornament. And then just putting this on some foam dots for my sentiment. I felt like the yellow worked perfect with that plaid. But now the front looks a little bit plain, right? Oh, and I actually have a little overlay here on the side, so I'm just going to open up my card and trim that off nice and easy. Make sure it all looks nice and straight. That looks good. Okay, so now I do feel like I want to put a little bit more on the front here. I felt like it was a little busy on the inside with the plaid. I really liked it, so I'm going to add a little bit of the plaid on the outside of my card. So I'm just doing a strip here at the top, and I love that. I love this plaid. I just think it's classic Christmassy, nice bright colors, and I'm just going to trim off the edge there. And then I think I'm going to add another strip of plaid on the bottom here. So just doing the same thing. I'm just using some glue for this, just so I can straighten it out a little bit easier with glue, and then you can kind of move it around before it sets. And then just trimming that edge again. I like to do it on the opposite side, opening up my card. And here I want to add some sequins. So I have this awesome sequin mix from Picket Fence, and there's snowflakes in here. So I first started out putting some snowflakes down, and then I started putting some of the actual colored sequins on the card. And I felt like this was the perfect amount of color. It wasn't too much, and I just love the snowflakes. I felt like it looked like there was snow falling all around, and I always feel like when in doubt, add sequins. It's just the nice, perfect touch. So here's my joy card in the inside. And remember, this was all done making just a 6x6 paper pad and folding that paper in half. This is a nice simple technique. I loved making this, and I wanted to show you, here's another one I made doing the same thing. I made it vertical. It spelled out the word Noel with those dies, and then got some glitter in there. I just loved making these cards, and remember, this was done with the Sizzix dies and the 6x6 paper pad. Thanks for watching, guys.